Hi, welcome to today's episode of Make It Work. My name is Ochoba Okamochoba, your host. Here in this program, Make It Work, we always learn how we can make anything work. Whether it's your business, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your marriage, career, pursuit, or organization, or leadership, we always learn how to make it work. And I want you to understand that you can actually make it work, and nothing works unless someone makes it work. So it is our responsibility to make it work. And in this program, we always learn exactly how to make it work. And today we'll be dealing with a topic that says sustaining openness in marriage. Part of the reason why marriages are not working is because both the husband and wife do not know how to sustain openness in marriage. So we're looking at how to sustain openness in marriage. Now, the role of the sustenance of openness in marriage guarantees that the man and the wife in the marriage will be able to enjoy their lives better. Now, openness in marriage is not the absence of issues in marriage, but it is a way through which the man and the woman have everything bare and open before each other, and they interrogate whatever they are and then be able to adjust them to suit their fulfillment within the marital space. So how do you sustain openness in marriage? The Bible had said in Genesis chapter 2 verse 25, he said, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and we are not ashamed. So openness in marriage helps the man and the woman to be open to each other, naked to each other, and not be ashamed. So how do we sustain openness in marriage? The first way for us to sustain openness in marriage is, number one, don't take advantage of your spouse because of his or her openness. There are several persons that take advantage of their spouses because the spouse is open to them in the marriage. For instance, you get to know how much your spouse is being paid or earns. You get to know one thing or the other about your spouse, and then you begin to take advantage of your spouse because of that. That is definitely killing the marriage, and that will be killing the marriage. So don't take advantage of your spouse's openness. If somebody is open to you, don't take advantage of that. If someone is open to you, then it is not a point with which you could use against the person, possibly to begin to either manipulate the person or begin to do all kind of funny things, blackmail or manipulate the person. So don't take advantage of your spouse because of his or her openness. So that's a way of sustaining openness in marriage. If somebody discovers that you are not taking advantage of him or her in being open to you, definitely the person will continue to be open to you. Now, the second thing is that you have to learn not to expose your spouse by divulging whatever information you gather about him or her as a result of being open to you. Now, this is very important because several persons would definitely capitalize on the information they have gotten from their spouses as a result of his or her openness to them in marriage, and then begin to expose their spouses. And sometimes even the devil will help you to do that, and then the results and the outcomes are not usually very palatable because you will definitely lose at the end of the day, put pressure in the marriage, and then everywhere scatters, and then you lose the person's confidence in the process. So this is very important. Then the next thing you need to do to be able to sustain openness in marriage is that you need to learn not to attack He says, don't attack or judge your spouse because of his or her openness. Now, several persons will get the information or find the openness of their wife or their husband and then begin to attack their spouses or judge them based on their openness. And so it's very important that you begin to learn that whatever thing you gather as a result of openness in marriage is not supposed to be a subject of attack. All right, so let it not be a subject of attack. Let it not be a subject of judgment. You don't judge your spouse or attack your spouse because of the person's openness. And at least the fact of openness in that marriage or the openness of your spouse to you should provide some relief, should provide some respite, for that person in that marriage. Again, you need to also learn something. Don't change how you see your spouse because of the person's openness. Now, several persons will change the way they see their spouses as soon as they get information about their spouses. Once your spouse is open to you, and then you begin to take advantage of that, and then of course you begin to change how you see the person. People change for better. People move from bad to good. All right, so people change and circumstances change and people change. So the fact that somebody was somewhere or did something or handled something in some way doesn't mean that the person will permanently handle the same thing in the same way. So people change, and then people change for better. People improve. So do not judge or attack your spouse because of the person's openness. Again, you also begin to learn that you don't have to disrespect or insult or rebel against your spouse because of the person's openness. Several people do that a lot. People do that a lot. They begin to disrespect their spouse, they begin to insult their spouse, and they begin to rebel against their spouse just because of their spouse's openness to them. That's very, very immature, and then you don't have to do that. All right? If you do that, it will get back to you. Most of the time, people are not as perfect as they appear, and people are not as perfect as they claim. So sometimes you see these realities staring us on the face. So do not disrespect or insult or rebel against your spouse because of the person's openness. And finally, you need to understand that you have to be happy that you are open, or that your spouse is open to you. Whatever information you have from your spouse or about your spouse, especially those that come from the person, you should be satisfied with it. All right, you should be satisfied with the openness of your spouse to you, and then be happy with it. Be happy with the openness, and that's one of the ways of patronizing that openness, when you are happy with the openness of your spouse. So you appreciate your spouse for telling you the truth, appreciate your spouse for being open to you, appreciate your spouse for carrying you along. Now, when you do this, you are encouraging the person to be more open to you and to get you more involved in the scheme of things. So gradually begin to see that you are building partnership and cooperation in your marriage. I want you to know that it's possible for your marriage to work, and one of the ways to do that is to sustain openness in marriage. As you do that, you're going to be happier, you're going to be more cooperative, you're going to be more open, you're going to be more involving in your marriage, and with the marital space is going to be more enjoyable. Thank you for being part of today's episode, and I want you to continue to join us in the subsequent episodes. Until I come your way again, I am your host, Ochuba Okama Ochuba, and I want you to understand that Make It Work is a program that is designed for you, and definitely everything is going to work, and then you're definitely going to learn how to make it work. Thank you for being part of today's episode. Thank you once again for listening.